Well, hello there, Dima. Good to see you back for another show. How are you doing?
Hello, Rob. I'm doing great. What about you?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
I figured we'd throw up the sign language since what we talked last
I'm loving the countdown feature. I love it.
I'm
Sounds
glad you
good.
like it. I know we're throwing it in on the fly. I mean, let's have a little excitement tonight. Let's have fun. We're trying some things that are new. But
Yes, we need energy. How's your energy? My energy was just like, phew. How's your energy?
it was until I started moving my environment around, changing a few things upstairs, and getting back in the groove of things. So I'm kind of making some slight changes to make my environment better and more peaceful, put things away. And that's kind of helping me. My energy's kind of high because I got some stuff accomplished this afternoon. But you're low, you're tanking. Do you need some 5-hour energy?
No, I'm good.
No.
I'm good now. I got the energy for the chit chat. I'm good now.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Well, we have a great guest today. Do you want to introduce the guest and then we bring her on?
Shelly Beall.
Dun, 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 dun. Here, come on, Shelly. There we go.
Hi, Shelly. Wow.
Hi, I'm glad to join you.
Welcome to the chit chat.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, we're so glad you're on. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind, for the viewers at home?
Yeah, sure. Shelly Beall, I'm from Baton Rouge. I've lived here most of my life. Yes, go Tigers. I went to LSU. I've graduated from there with a journalism degree, communications degree, but I put myself through college, teaching aerobics, personal training, teaching dance, any jobs I could find. At one time, I worked 5 jobs at once. So,
Wow.
so I think that was a lot of where my experience came from. But I have always worked in wellness and fitness and health promotion, and that is what I do now. For the last 23 years, I've had a company called SB Wellness Group, and we do worksite wellness, health promotion. We go into companies and try to help employees be healthier and happier and safer, which is what we all want right now. and you know, we've been doing that for a while, and I love it. I love what we do. I have a great team and great clients. So
that's awesome.
I remember when I met you. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a husband and 2 daughters as well. My daughter's one has graduated in interior design and lives in Covington now, and the other one is at LSU in pre-law. So,
oh wow,
all the way grown.
Quite accomplished. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Shelly, I remember when we first met, it was at some conference, and you had a booth, and you had your business card.
Yeah,
I still remember that moment. I don't remember the specific event though.
I remember it too, and I can tell you where it was. It was a leadership. I don't remember the specific name, but it was at the Dunham. It was a community leadership.
It was leader something. Yes, that one. Oh wow! Okay.
I remember that, and I remember meeting you because I knew who you were when you walked by, and I introduced myself to you because I had seen. I saw you speak at the Baton Rouge SHRM meeting, I think.
Nice.
Previously, and I was very impressed. So we go back a little.
Yeah, so now years later, you're here, and tomorrow you're the guest for Leadership and Lattes. So
yeah, look at
we're keeping you busy here.
Yes, it's good.
So,
I love it.
So Shelly, obviously, with all the changes that we are all experiencing during the pandemic, we are all facing so much more stress. And whether it is personally and also professionally, there's a lot of stress on our health. So share with us, what tips do you have that you give to your clients that you would like to share with our viewers today?
Sure. I mean, where do I begin? We talk a lot about stress with our clients, and it seems to be the hot topic right now. Every time you talk to somebody, everyone is stressed. There's so much uncertainty, so many, worries and things going on that we've never had happen before. It's kind of unprecedented for us. But I always like to first say what it's like. I like analogies. What do you have in your stress toolkit? We have our little home toolkit. So if we need to hammer a nail or scotch tape or whatever your skill level is with that. But what do we have in our stress toolkit? And of course, the normal things like I exercise and eating right and getting enough sleep, and maybe it's essential oils, or maybe it's talking to people that you trust and know that can talk you off the ledge when you're really stressed. Those are sort of the things we hear about a lot. But I think right now we have to dig a little deeper at times, because we can find ourselves not reacting the same way we do to stress, and that those tools aren't quite enough. And so I always tell people one of the first things to do is to surrender to what is. And that sounds hokey or simple or whatever, but it's really about showing up for yourself and acknowledging that, hey, I'm pretty stressed right now. And it's having the self-awareness to see it for what it is. What am I feeling right now? And what does this mean for me? What does this mean for me? So I think that's a good first step when you're trying to deal with it. And also, what does this say about how I'm reacting? What does this say about my values? And is it lining up with core values and who I am? Am I reacting the way I see myself? So a lot of us describe ourselves as, I have a good attitude, or I'm happy-go-lucky, or whatever it is. But then when it comes down to when we're feeling really anxious, we're not breathing deep, we're worrying or not sleeping or whatever it is, that's when it's time to ask yourself, who am I in this moment? Is that who I am? And how can we get back to that? So that's a good first step. And if I'm talking too much, tell me.
No, you're fine. You're doing great.
No.
This is good information.
This is so good.
Well, I think after that, we have to also, step up after we show up for ourselves, and we compassionately recognize I'm stressed and this is how I'm dealing with it. Be kind to ourselves and compassionate about it. Then it's digging a little deeper and labeling it and for what it is, because feeling stressed is so general. We all feel stress sometimes, but what's really going on? Is it fear? Am I afraid of the virus, or giving the virus to an elderly grandparent? Or am I afraid about my kids going back to school? Or am I afraid that they're not going back to school? Or am I disappointed? Whatever it is, it's digging
down
deeper. All of the above.
All of them.
Yeah. So it's digging a little deeper and really kind of addressing what's truthfully going on, because when you do that, you're going to feel a little more grounded, and you're going to feel a little more autonomy and a little more in control. Because then you can also, most of us deal with stress in two ways. We either brood about it and we stew about it and feel sorry for ourselves, or we bottle up. So are y'all a bottler or a brooder? Which one are you? I'm a bottler. I'll admit. I tend to look the other way when it gets too bad and distract myself, whether it's Netflix binging or whatever it is. I'm bottle up. It's gonna come back up. So we have to address it.
Now, have you seen it?
Well, I bottle up with a lot of sweets and a lot of crunchy stuff. So that's how I bottle up. It's not good. Not good.
That's common. That's a common, eating, drinking, and especially here in the South, we celebrate, we grieve, we do everything with food. So it's a common way to deal with it.
Well, so have you seen the way people either are receiving this or coping with this? Have you seen it change since the beginning of COVID? And months later, here we are. Have you seen it different from the beginning when things were happening in March, mid-March? to now, here we are in, mid-August. It's crazy to say that. Have you seen things kind of change?
Yeah, and I think we've seen this, the roller coaster, back
Yes.
to the sign language. I think we've seen, I've talked to people who were very positive in the beginning. They actually kind of enjoyed the break.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great to see families exercising together and these things that, we should do and want to do, but don't always have time for. But then you saw frustration creep in when things aren't going back quick enough. And so I've seen it all, but I also have seen extremes in how different people are. Even in the beginning, when some people were okay with it, others were really struggling because they didn't like being isolated and being alone. So we're all different. And I think if we can all accept that we're all different, because that's also something I've seen create a lot of stress, is we get so aggravated with, they don't believe in wearing a mask, or they do, or these people think everyone should go back to school and these people don't. And I think that creates a lot of stress because we're, there's so many differing opinions and emotions and feelings about what's going on. So I think that's another stress causing thing. And so I think if we can just first be compassionate with ourselves about how we're feeling, then we're going to be more likely to be compassionate with others and understanding. And that is going to make us feel a little less anxious about it all when we can do that. We can identify, why am I feeling like this? It's a lot of it is self-awareness. And I think some of us are more self-aware than others, but it's catching yourself because we all are going to veer off track from who we are and what our values are from time to time. Stress and the world is going to do that to us, but it's how quickly can you recognize it in yourself and say, okay, who do I really want to be right now? Do I want to brood and do I want to, bottle up, or do I want to address this and get creative and be somebody different in this moment? Be someone who can be compassionate with others, who can problem solve creatively. And also for those, I have to say there's people out there that are dealing with serious anxiety, that it's like it's not just feeling a little stressed, but it may be bigger and it may be a deeper problem. And so there's no shame in going to get help. CDC has a whole page of resources and numbers you can call right away to talk to somebody. So,
well, there's a crisis hotline, for in your local area, most likely too.
Right.
Depending on where you are, especially here in Baton Rouge, if you ever have to use those resources. And, there's also different hotlines that focus in certain areas too. So maybe there's a sexual trauma. You want to call our friends over at STAR. Maybe it's just a general thing where you just need to reach out and take a break and talk. I mean, that would be something like, call a crisis hotline. Use these resources you're talking about. Have you noticed that there's been maybe some online resources that you've started to use or that people aren't aware of that maybe you could bring some attention to?
Well, like I said, the CDC has a whole list, a page. If you go to the Centers for Disease Control, they have pages, especially relating to the pandemic. They have a whole section for parents. They have, there's a lot of resources there. And then, I always encourage people to find something that works for them. Maybe it's the Calm app, or there's other ones out there, but just, putting something into practice that can just give you moments. Like I said, that tool belt, that stress kit that we need to keep, what can you pull out today? It doesn't always have to be the same thing, but are we practicing these things, daily and asking ourselves, hey, how am I doing with stress? Am I ignoring it? Am I looking too much to the past and ruminating over what could have been? Am I worrying too much about the future and things I can't control? Have I let myself just be enough, just be in the moment? And that's all very, I think, powerful to use those tools. That's why we've talked a lot about mindfulness, Dima. I know you talk about it a lot, and that's something people hear a lot, but that's part of it. It's just asking yourself those questions and maybe taking a minute to think on it, just to stop and think, hey, what could help me right now? I also am a big believer in every morning I get up and I journal a little bit. I have kind of my quiet time, prayer time, gratitude time. but I always write a mantra, and it can be one word or it could be many. It could be, like I think mine this morning was, I am happy, healthy, filled with God's grace, and in love with life. That was my mantra for the day. Well, it might just be the word calm. And if you say it and think about it, and I always like to I'm a very visual person. So I'll picture, my feet like roots in the ground, and I'm strong but flexible. And I just say the word calm, and you could go back to that anytime during the day when you feel like you're losing it with stress or your rate is going up and you're not breathing correctly. You can go back to that word and that visual, and it can immediately change you on a cellular level. There's science to that. It calms you down. It takes your central nervous system back to kind of a homeostasis, back to a calmer state. So there's a lot of power in that. Another trick that I always like to ask people, what's your favorite, stress management technique? My daughter said, I like to talk to people who can talk me off the ledge. When I'm kind of spiraling in my own stress, I always call people or talk to friends that will go, hey, that's ridiculous. You're worrying about the wrong things. But another technique, and this one I learned from my mom a long time ago, it's used by a lot of psychologists. It's called the 5-4-3-2-1. So we can all kind of try it together. So you take a couple of deep breaths, and then you look for 5 things, or acknowledge 5 things you can see. So I can see you, I can see my laptop, I can see my cup that I with my water, I can see the table and the chair I'm sitting at. So those are 5 things I can see. And then you want to list 4 things you can touch. I can touch my hair, I can touch my skin, I can touch my laptop, I can touch my pen. So immediately your mind has stopped thinking about all the craziness, and you're just acknowledging these things. Then it's 3 things you can hear. So I just heard my husband walk by and close the door, and I can hear, the UPS truck outside and the ice dropping in the ice machine. And then 2 things you can smell. I put essential oils on right before this. This is my first Facebook Live thing I've ever done.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And you're doing good.
I know.
Wow.
So I put a little essential oils just to make me feel calm.
What? Some lavender, some tranquility. What you got in there? What you got?
I've got peppermint and like a calming thing.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Are you diffusing it or are you putting it on?
I put them on. I eat essential oils. I love essential oils. So, and then one thing you can taste. So, even if you don't have something that you have a taste in your mouth or recognize, especially if you have COVID and you've lost your sense of taste, then you can imagine one thing you could taste, your favorite flavor. So it's doing that simple exercise, again, changes you on that cellular level. It recreates a new pathway in your brain, because the more we stress and we get anxious and we go down that road of thought, it creates a pattern in our brain and in our way of thinking. And the more that pattern happens, the more it's your default pattern. So the more you bottle up, or the more you brood, or the more you worry about the past or the future, that's the path your brain is going to kind of take every time. So doing these little things, these exercises, mindfulness, those kind of things help retrain your brain.
Well, so Shelly, really quick, can we ask any of the audience members, can we ask some of the audience if you, what was the other option? If you're a bottler
or brooder,
a brooder?
Yeah. If you ruminate and brood and kind of feel sorry for yourself or wallow in the things that are wrong.
Got it.
Yeah.
So it's those 2, a bottler or a brooder.
Those are the most common ways people tend to react when it's stressed. We either avoid and we bottle up and we move, we look for ways to cope with. Some people it's alcohol, some people it's TV, some people it's, some people read, which isn't a bad thing to do. Some people over exercise, it can be a number of things.
I
Well,
wish
so
I wish I'm a person who reads and over exercise when I'm under stress. That would be so nice. My life would be better.
It's Netflix. I'm like, oh, let me just lose myself in a Netflix series. I don't think about my problems. I'll think about theirs.
or just burn twice the amount of calories. Stress. Don't stress eat that way, and then just be an over worker outer person. Where,
That can be good and bad. It can be.
Overexert yourself, but don't have any intake. I mean, yeah,
It can become a vice, I guess, is what I'm saying.
that can't be sustainable, right? A lot of this it's temporary. It's only going to last for so long. So a lot of these
Rob, it's going to come back up.
changes or tips you need to incorporate for the long, for the long game.
Yeah, definitely. So what are y'all's? I always like to ask people, what is your go-to stress management? How do you one that works for you?
I mean, a long, long time ago, it used to be playing sports, so getting that out physically. But now, where time is constrained, or there's the outlet is there but not accessible,
right?
Or in the case where it's just too busy and you can't even find the time. I find that my default is, staying up late, doing unhealthy things like eating late or eating bad, eating snacks, sweets. I love eating sweets. I mean, just this last week and a half, it was root beer floats. It was Coke floats. Yeah. I mean, I got in this habit where that was like, yeah, that comforts me. This is what I want right now. And I started to crave it, but not having that has actually put me in better sleep. I don't feel as, groggy in the morning. So I guess some stress eating, but I also bottle it up until I can't take it anymore. My muscles are tense and, I need to breathe, and I'm short, and I have a short fuse with things. So for me, I've got to find a way to talk about it, because talking about it, when I say it, and then when I hear myself say it, I hold myself accountable to doing something about it and acting on it. So if I'm doing it to myself, I'm stress eating. I'm doing those unhealthy things. But if I know that I need to do something about it, I talk about it. And talking about it to my friends or to my spouse, or even saying it out loud or writing in a journal like you talked about, holds me to it, and I find more success that way.
And also, Rob, I love what you said about talking about it, or even writing it down. That's another thing we like to suggest is journaling, because what it does is it's like when you're looking through the lens of a camera and you only see this little thing. And that's what happens with stress, is we focus in on these things that just build up and become so big to us. Whereas if we could zoom out and look at the bigger picture, and by talking about it and writing it down, it allows you to do that. It opens up, and you can kind of look at it more objectively. I think that's the right word. Yeah. You can kind of say, hey, you know what? In the scheme of things, I wrote this down. Is that big of a deal? And it might be a big deal, but we're going to get stuck in how to deal with it or bottling it up if we don't do that. So I think that's a beautiful way to handle it, is by talking to people. And my husband does that. He likes to talk. He has like 5 or 6 people that he'll talk about every time he's stressed, and he gets all of their takes on it, and then he comes back and it helps. That's just how he processes. So I think we all have to figure out what works for us.
Well, Dima, what works for you? What do you do?
So I have the healthy and the unhealthy. The healthy one is I have amazing friends that I call. So I just call them, and specifically one, her name is LaDonna. She always thinks very differently than me. She's so process oriented. She's extremely wise. So I call her and I'm like, I'm going crazy. It calms me down and helps me to see the other perspective. In the past, of course, I used to call my uncle. He's not well now, but before he's the LaDonna, my uncle, my mom. So I have like a whole list of people that I call. So this is the healthy one, where I just, getting it out of the system, getting different people's perspective. Yeah. The unhealthy one is I would escape from it and go to sleep. So I would just go and like, even in the middle of the day, I just cannot do it. I cannot handle it. And I would just, all I need is to go to sleep. And I wake up and I watch multiple movies as I'm eating ice cream with chips. So
we all have our ways.
that's why I want my stress management is to be working out more. And what was the other one? Working out, and another good thing you said.
Reading. I think you liked
And
reading.
Reading, yeah. I
Yeah,
would like
yeah.
this to be my management, stress management style.
Yeah.
I'm so far away from that.
Well, and that's why I asked about earlier how like if things change, because earlier in in the March and the April and earlier in this, I was able to de-stress in different ways. I had a different schedule, different time, different expectations. Now that we're getting settled into this routine called COVID, I mean it's also important to note that some of those things that I did do, they're not working anymore. I don't have the time for them, or they're
Right.
just not feasible for me now. So I've had to find new workarounds. Reading your book was great, but I just haven't read the book. I'm not driving as much. A lot of those outlets have been challenged along with our boundaries, which makes it like a never-ending game to find the next solution.
The boundaries and the rules and the it's always changing. Yeah. And so it's figuring out what can I do with this new way of living and how do I make it work so that I can live a healthy lifestyle and manage it in a way that works for me. So
we have Maria. She said, walking among nature and detaching from everything.
That's a good
or
one.
just observing life happen. That helps my stress. Also meditation and using smells like lavender and
Yes.
okay. And then incense, among other things. Yeah.
those are some of my favorites. Maria, thanks for sharing. And there's science to getting out in nature, what that does for your mental well-being. So that's a really good one. I mean, again, that's one of those toolkit ones. Stick that in your toolkit. I try to get outside every day, but a lot of times, several times a day. Just even if it's just stepping outside in the heat for a minute, feel the warmth of the sun, get some fresh air. I mean, right now it's so hot. You can't really stay out in a minute or two. But I go out early in the morning to walk, and I if I don't get that in the morning, I miss it.
I'm glad you said that. If you don't get it, you miss it, because and because it's so hot, I had made plans to go to my hunting lease, right? That's where I was going to get some me time, de-stress, do some things, but then I missed out. It was so hot. Change of plans.
Wow.
Just not going to do that on that day, right? And I didn't replace it with something of equal or greater value. So what happened was I was left with the deficit, and I had a gap. And let's just say that maybe Monday and Tuesday's virtual learning didn't go quite as smooth as I hoped they had. So I mean, it kind of reached ahead, and I had too many blowouts yesterday. But I had to come back and like be real with it and say, I really screwed up. Tomorrow needs to be a better day.
Yeah.
So what was great was today actually kind of fell into some bit of a place where things got, some momentum behind them, and they started looking up. But I noticed that not filling that gap where I missed out to replace some me time and fill up my bucket
Exactly.
played a role in me having a shorter fuse 3 days later. 3 days later, and it was something so subtle that it just snuck up on me,
Yeah. It's almost like you have to put that in your calendar of events. It's like, where am I giving back to myself? Where am I filling up my bucket? Where am I working on me? Where's my self care time going to go in the calendar? And what does that look like for me? And what are the alternatives? So if it's too hot to go to the camp, then what else can I do that I'm going to enjoy and like doing? And so much of what, like my neighbor loves to go to movies. She's missing that. You can't go to the movies. She's not big on watching them at home. She wants to go to the movie theater, get her popcorn with a friend and watch movies. So we all have those things that we're missing, and people we're missing and connections we're missing. So what we need to figure out new ways to satisfy that. and to make sure that we're giving ourselves a chance. And I think this quarantine in the beginning did that for a lot of people. It taught us, hey, I can slow down. This is okay. I like this slower pace, or I like that I don't have to get up an hour early to commute to work. And people kind of enjoyed it at first, but I think you're right. Things have changed, and people are getting busier, or people are getting restless, one or the other. It's like, okay, maybe they're at work, but not everyone else is. So it's different. Or maybe they're working from home.
Exactly.
And so it's creating those new habits, new things that are going to be good for us.
Yeah.
Not bad for us.
You mentioned earlier gratitude, and one of the viewers is talking about gratitude too. Gratitude always works best for me. I use this during carpool with my 9-year-old son, and it truly works wonders for us, even on the most challenging mornings.
I absolutely love that, because I did that with my kids. We would, on the way to school, I did it by let's say a morning prayer, and I would say what I was thankful for, hoping that they would say what they were thankful for. And it really does. We could be yelling and screaming at each other trying to get out the door, and I could be just like, I can't do this in the mornings. And then we stop and do that exercise, and it was great. So someone said hi, Shelly. Hey.
Yes. Even during the most difficult times, we still have a lot of good things happening in our world and in our lives. So, but it's hard to, just like you said with the camera, it's hard to see the bigger picture when we're really focused on the painful items. And there are a lot of pain. There's a lot of changes, a lot of insecurity, a lot of fear. Some people have been impacted by COVID, their family, they may have lost family members. So we cannot make this smaller and say, oh yeah, just meditate and be grateful. There's pain. So it's a matter of how, and it's not going away anytime soon. That's the hardest thing.
Something I like to say is, everything that happens to us, if we can look at it as a lesson or a blessing. So it doesn't have to be where we stay in this awful thing that's happened to us, but we can look at it as, how can we grow from it? And how is this a blessing to me? So it could be one or the other or both, but I think having that attitude of gratitude helps you do that. You're counting your blessings instead of focusing on what's been taken away, and whining and complaining. It's just, we've lost, it's a sense of loss. We lost something. We didn't get our way, or things didn't go the way we thought they would go. It's sort of a loss of expectation. And wow, didn't COVID bring that? I mean, all these things that were going to happen in March, April, May didn't happen. So we had some things that we could easily just focus on as losses, but it's being able to turn around and look at what we've gained that really can shift your feeling of wherever you are. But you're right, Dima, some people are going through serious loss, and I just think having hope that it's going, one day we'll be able to look back and see it as a lesson or a blessing can help pull you through even the hardest times.
Yeah.
Well, so Shelly, I know that we have to find workarounds that are new because things have changed, but and maybe from early COVID to now where we are, and maybe even to where we're going. What are some traditions that you have worked in? I know you said maybe find some time. You work in the gratitude in the morning. We had the viewer that talked about doing it during carpool in the morning. That's amazing. But so what are some, I know myself this morning, I had an attitude of gratitude and paid a call to a friend before things kind of got started. And that paid off for me huge. I wound up getting it 3 times back from other friends in different ways throughout the day. But what are some other ways that, maybe it's not gratitude, but what are some other ways that you practice self-care or work in time to make this de-stress component actually fit in this changing lifestyle? When do you absolutely force it to make it happen? Like, do you have it in the morning? Is it sometime during the day? Is it only on the weekends? What is your schedule for that?
I think, again, I do a number of things to take care of myself. We teach this, so I try to practice what I preach. But
You said teach this. Where do you teach this? You teach this at?
Well, we teach this to our clients. We do a lot of health coaching.
Your clients at?
You want me to say some of our clients?
Well, no.
Clients, your business. Tell us about your business.
Wellness group.
You have the link right there. Yeah.
Yes, SB Wellness Group. We have health coaches, dietitians, exercise specialists. So we're always, coaching and talking. We do a lot of stress. We do a lot of mindfulness training. So these are things we do. But I think it's figuring out what works with you. I will get up earlier on days that I have something early for work. If it's going to mess up my schedule to walk or to, do those things in the morning that I know are going to set me up for a healthier day, I will get up earlier in the mornings most of the time. Not every single time, but most of the time I will adjust so that I get that in. Or, when the weather cools off, I can switch that back to the afternoon on some days. But right now, I'm not going to walk after 12 o'clock. I mean, even probably after 10 o'clock, it's too hot. I'm going to be busy until it's the hottest part of the day anyway. So I try to do that first thing in the morning or second or third thing, early. Okay. First thing, I always have that time to just reflect, set the tone for the day. I think that's important. And knowing when to stop. If I think so many of us will go through the day and not realize that our shoulders are up to our ears, our back is tight, our breathing is maybe shorter and faster, our heart's racing, our stomach hurts, our head hurts, whatever it is. And we don't stop. We don't stop and drink water. We don't stop and take some deep breaths. It only takes a minute. No matter how busy you are, you're going to be more productive. You're going to get more done. You're going to be more clear and be able to make better decisions and focus on your work better if you stop and take time to take care of yourself. Even if it's as simple as refilling up your water, just making sure you have water nearby. I'll put essential oils in my water, or doing the essential oils or taking a minute to step outside and just get a different perspective and take a few deep breaths. So it's all throughout the day for me. I feel like that works for me. And if I don't do it, there's going to be days when I don't come up, you're busy, you don't come up for air. I find that the next day I'm not productive at all. I can't focus. I'm just no good. So I'm distracted and my work takes longer. So it's better if I make myself take that time every day to take care of myself.
I want to say really quick, one thing that's helped me is my Apple Watch. I hadn't worn a watch in like 10 something years. I wound up getting this for, some of those health benefits of tracking my steps or my activity. And it turned into, I'm using it more for health than I am for like business or, checking on things. So I love the reminder to stand up. I have a reminder. I bought a reminder to remind me to drink every so often. So a couple times in that, an hour, it's reminding me to drink water. So stand up. And then the sleep, I'm tracking my sleep. I had broken sleep the last 3-4 days. And last night I finally got some sleep. I guess I was exhausted, right? And
I caught up.
Sleep. It paid off in my patience today. It paid off in being able to handle. Today was a kind of a nutty day, but I was able to manage quite a bit more than I had the last few days just by paying attention to the basics, and the reminder to breathe, the reminder for mindfulness that comes with just the simple, technology around us is pretty important. Set an alarm to breathe.
Yeah, we used to say, when people were at their desks all day, to stand up every hour, to set a reminder in your Outlook that will go get up or else, or get off your butt, whatever. Get up. So it's the technology can be a good friend in those cases for sure. I like my watch too. it's the step. I'm obsessed with steps. I want to get a certain number of steps every day.
Yes. Yes.
So Shelly, with the viewers right now, they may be like, "Oh, I need Shelly to be my coach. I need a health coach. I need somebody to help me with my diet." So tell us more about what do you offer them, how you can help them, and
Sure.
also if it's all having to be in person, because we may have people that are outside of Louisiana. So
Yeah.
what do you offer?
Well, there's a big umbrella of services that we offer. Our specialty is corporate wellness, worksite wellness. So we can go into a company and help that company develop and design wellness programs for their employees. And that's everything from health screenings, health coaching, weight management, stress management, smoking cessation. There's a big sort of umbrella there. For individuals, we do offer wellness coaching. And right now, most of that is virtual. So, but we love doing it. It can be set up a number of ways. We also have exercise sessions and registered dietitian sessions. So if you want to talk more about your diet, that can be a direction we can go in, or we can do all of it. The package of, you might have 3 or 4 of our staff that work with you, one more on the exercise realm, one more on the nutrition realm, and one that's sort of the overall wellness picture, whole person, well-being. So it's kind of a big umbrella, but we can definitely reach out to us. We'll be glad to talk to you about how we can help your company or you individually, you and your family.
So are there programs that you offer? Let's say a 3 months, 6 months, a year program. How does it work? Or is it per session?
It's very customized. So, we, most of our clients, our work sites that we work with, we have sort of a formula that we know works. And it really, it works very well to do that initial health screening where we go in and we do a full lipid panel, blood pressure, weight risk assessment. But the big part of that is the coach, that one-on-one, hey, this is where we are. Where do you want to be? What are you working on? What are you concerned about? And what are your challenges, and kind of coaching through all of that. And then we meet regularly. For some of our clients, it's really up to the company how often they want to invest in the program, but we at least quarterly, but a lot of times it's every month with the employees, and maybe even weekly with high-risk people. So we have one program, for example, we have a weight management program that's been very successful, and we have probably about 200 people in it right now. And it's they check in weekly with our coaches and dietitian and exercise specialists. So there's a team they get to work with. And right now we're doing, they're not checking in person, so we're just doing, hey, send us your weight or snap a picture of it, and
Right.
that kind of thing. So.
Good way to adapt.
Yes. Another thing we've been doing a lot of is things like stress management seminars, mindfulness sessions, and those kind of things for groups. And the exercise classes are huge right now. Our team are teaching lots of classes every day, and it gives people a way to connect. They're at home, they can stop and do the 30-minute body blast class or restore or whatever it is.
So okay, so that's good. So they're doing it virtually, and you can have as many people as whoever wants to join, they're able to join, that are part of the program.
Yeah,
that's so great. Yeah, because there's so much online, but I still cannot make myself go online and do the video on my own and stretch. It's just so boring. I need human interaction. I don't want to be the only one struggling here.
I think too, when we already had some groups that we taught group exercise classes on site for them. And so these are people that are used to being in class with the instructor, with each other, and they're still connecting even though they're not, even though they're not in person, they can see who else is in class. They can send a comment and interact with the instructor a little. So we've had a really good turnout for that. We actually even had one of our groups, we had probably 10 to 20 people a day. It's one of our largest groups, signing up for class participation that had never tried the classes before. But we think that they were willing to try it from the comfort of home, not being seen. And we had a lot of new participants that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's been fun.
Turn
So
that
what
camera off and just watch, right?
What's that?
Are they more?
Oh, I was saying turn the camera off and just watch, right? Like,
Yeah. We did. It's great. And I think people tune in also to the instructors. They love the pets. You know, they're like, wait, where's your pets? I didn't get to see your pets today. Where's the dog?
we underestimated the pets' importance in all this. You're right.
I know. They're probably all like, when are you leaving?
I know my cat is feeling that way.
Yeah, mine. If I do have to leave now, they're like, "What? You're leaving? You're not going to be here all day? What's going on?" Yeah. So.
Oh, that is too funny.
This was amazing, and we're still going. Wow, this was a really good chit chat. Wow.
Yeah, this has been great. I love this.
I'm glad. Hopefully, it helps some people out there because I know a lot of people are struggling with stress. So.
Yeah, and you talked multiple times about essential oils. I love essential oils. The one I use is Young Living. Which one do you use?
I have some Young Living, and I'm real into doTERRA right now because you can ingest more of those.
Mm-hmm.
I like to, have a little concoction I make that's like a preventative. I think it keeps me from getting sick. It's oregano and which is, it's not easy I like it now. The first time I drank it, I was like,
that oil of oregano is woo.
So tell us, okay, it has oregano. What else does it have?
Oregano, On Guard, and frankincense. Or you can do lemon and melaleuca, like tea tree oil. But not all essential oils can be ingested. They have to have the nutrition facts on them.
Right.
You want to make sure that they have that on there. Otherwise, don't put them in your mouth.
Yes.
That might not be good.
Good call.
But I love them too, Dima. I use them all of the time.
I love to diffuse them. They smell great. The deep relief, on the muscles and stuff is good.
Deep blue.
The staples of lavender and peppermint are great. The lemongrass and lemon. Yeah.
I could have done cleaning supplies. I put spearmint in my.
Oh, I bet that smells amazing.
And my whole house smells so good. It smells cleaner. I like that better than the chemical smell anyway. But
that's
for a while you couldn't find any cleaning supplies. It's like they're all gone off the shelves. But we do essential oils in there, and the spearmint was my favorite.
Dima, I took a tip from Dr. Kita there, and one of our earlier guests, Dr. Kita Patel, right? And she had mentioned like a lot of vitamin C. So I bought a lot of Emergency early on, and I've been taking that occasionally. I've not been skipping on my vitamins and skimping on those, trying to eat a little bit better. But then also, I've been doing a lot of antioxidants too. I've been doing the palm juice a lot, and the wife does some berry or something. They call it Ninja Juice from Young Living. She likes that.
Ninja Juice, yes.
Yeah,
that's delicious. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, I've been dosing up on the antioxidants and the vitamin C, and making sure I'm taking those. So I'm glad you're bringing a lot of these. I mean, really, some of these things are very easy, right? They're simple. They're so simple we can incorporate this into our daily life. But we need your help, Shelly. That's why we need you on this show, is to give us some more motivation to get this stuff done, to call you if we need help. And I love the idea of these classes being virtual. So
and I think most people
would pay attention to the ticker at the bottom.
Yeah.
To learn more, visit sbwellness.com. Shelly, you have been just like an absolute blessing today. I mean, we talked about the lesson of the blessing. We got both of those tonight.
Oh, thank you.
That's so funny. Yeah. Well, I'm not ready to let you go because I have one more question for you. So what I realized that we know what we're supposed to do. We know that we need to work out and sleep well and have our vitamins and do all of this stuff. But sometimes we're not doing it. So what do you tell your clients to help them be more consistent and not just learning what is good for them, but actually applying it? Because that's where I know a lot of people struggle, and I struggle as well.
I think, one of the first things, again, is going back to your purpose, your core values. What do you want to be? And if you want to have a good attitude and you want to have energy and you want to be able to give and do these things, then you need good health too. And so I always tell people that comes first, because if you don't know your why, it's most people, when we say, well, what are your goals? I want to lose weight, or I want to sleep better, or I want to lower my blood pressure. But why? We need that why behind there, because otherwise, how bad do you want it? Are you willing to give up some things to get it? Are you willing to do the hard work to get it? It has to be a priority. You have to know intrinsically why you want that, and does it line up with who you are and what you want? And most of the time it will, but I think understanding that, hey, I want to be able to play with my kids and grandkids. I want to be healthy enough to do that. Or I've heard some really good ones over the years, the reasons, the whys. But when we can get that, when we can get to the why, the core of it, who are you and why do you want this? Then the goals become more important. I guess they become higher priority, because,
Yes,
it's so easy for those things we know we're supposed to exercise every day. It's good for our heart. It's good for everything, our mental well-being. But why don't we do it more? Because it's just, we're busy and it falls way down on the priority list, but we haven't really matched it up to our core values and what's important to us, and really understanding that to get there, that we need to do those things. We want to live longer and healthier. And you look at people who do, you look at the blue zones. Have y'all heard of the blue zones? The parts of the world where they have the most, what do they call them? Centenarians, people who live into their 100 years, like 103, 109, 110, and they live healthy all the way to the end. They do things like walk every day, walk everywhere. They eat, homegrown, home cooked foods that they make themselves. It's not really anything specific, but it's all these things that we know we should do. And we just don't, they have a sense of community. They have all those things. So I think that can help us when we know the why. Why do we want that?
Yep. Well,
I'm glad you connect that together. It's stronger. It gives you more motivation to accomplish it. And maybe there's some accountability built in there too.
Right. And of course, write it down, tell someone about it. Make sure it works for you and your schedule. Make sure you break it down into steps, take action, but make it doable. We want to start exercising. You don't want to go and do the hardest class for an hour the first days. You might go another 2 weeks before you can walk again. So, you want to make sure you take it in steps and make it work for you.
Amen.
Yeah.
Love it.
Wow.
Sage advice.
Good. I'm glad.
I loved our chit chat today. Thank you, Shelly.
I enjoyed. Y'all are great. Y'all are
and
fun.
Then in a few hours, I got you again for Leadership and Lattes.
Good. I will definitely see you in the morning.
Yes.
I hope y'all sleep very good tonight.
There you go. There you go. And then, so let's plug that too. So everybody who's watching, make sure you check out Leadership and Lattes. If you don't already know about that, looks like Dima's got a great show with Shelly on it tomorrow. So
yes, 9 a.m.
So check out their Facebook page for Leadership and Lattes. And Shelly, do you have a Facebook page for SB Wellness? Any social media out there?
Yes, it's sbwellness.com. Our SB Wellness is our Facebook page. So just, check us out. We'd love to connect.
Awesome. We love that. Well, thank you for connecting with us today, Shelly. This has been amazing. And we appreciate everyone else, our viewers at home who have tuned in today and given us a piece of their time in such of these, in these crazy times. So we really appreciate that. And we know it's valuable. So Dima, do you have any closing thoughts before we sign off?
I just want to add to what you were saying. So encourage everybody to connect with Shelly. And if they have additional questions, go ahead and type them and we'll make sure to respond to everyone. So right now, what we are focused on is helping our community that is global with the major transition that we're all going through, the stress, the resilience messages. So if you or anyone you know has a really interesting story related to resilience that you would like for us to feature, just let Rob and I know.
We appreciate that. So we'll see you again next Wednesday at 7 p.m. and look for more information on our guests soon. So thank you, Shelly. It's been great to have you tonight. Thank you so much for all the information. Love it. Can't wait to use some of it myself. And we'll definitely check you out at SB Wellness as well. Maybe IT Inspired could use a little kick in the pants, so to say, for our wellness programs and initiatives there.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. I love the virtual classes. Love that. So we might be in touch there.
Yay. Well, good.
Yes.
I look forward to it.
Thank you tonight for tuning in to Chit Chat. We appreciate it. Thank you for tuning into our show. And we'll see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Until then, have a great one. Stay safe and mask up. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Good night.